In the heart of picturesque Tuscany, where rolling hills and vineyards paint a serene backdrop, lies a tale shrouded in darkness. Welcome to Claws and Crime Chronicles, where we dive deep into the dark and enigmatic world of true crime and mysteries. Today, our investigative journey takes us to the infamous Monster of Florence case, a perplexing puzzle that spans decades and paints a terrifying picture of a killer who haunted the Italian countryside. The Monster of Florence case is not merely a true crime story, it's a labyrinth of enigmas, where every turn reveals new secrets and each revelation sends shivers down the spine. From clandestine trysts under the moonlit Tuscan sky to cryptic symbols left at crime scenes, the Monster of Florence case is a tapestry woven with the threads of both human darkness and the relentless pursuit of truth. Are you ready to step into the shadows and uncover the secrets that have haunted this region for decades? So grab your detective hats, arm yourselves with curiosity, and join me on a journey into the heart of the Monster of Florence case. But beware, for this mystery is not for the faint of heart. The Monster of Florence, or Mostra di Firenze, claimed the lives of at least 14 people near Florence from 1974 to 1985. This baffling criminological mystery has spanned over 40 years, with no conclusive resolution despite international expertise involvement. Trials have occurred, resulting in 2 men imprisoned, yet the Mostra di Firenze case remains a cold one. The modus operandi was consistent, targeting couples alone in isolated areas at night, waiting for intimacy before ambushing with a gun and knife, concluding with a ritualistic disfigurement of the female victim. Moonless nights and pre-holiday evenings marked the crimes, with the monster shifting locations across Florence suburbs. A crucial puzzle piece is the consistent use of a Beretta .22 caliber pistol loaded with Winchester Series H bullets, easily identified by a unique mark on the shell casing. This distinctive gun signature, along with the monster's preference for pre-1968 H-embossed bullets, solidified the police's certainty of a single perpetrator. What sets this .22 caliber killer apart is a distinctive modus operandi. The Monster of Florence targets young couples in remote countryside locations during the darkest nights, executing blitz-style ambushes with remarkable patience. Exhibiting unusually long pauses between attacks, sometimes spanning a year and, in one instance, up to 7 years, the Florence killer operates with strategic precision. The Mostro avoids any form of sexual interaction with victims, whether pre- or post-mortem, opting for swift, non-interactive ambushes that render the couple lifeless within seconds. Meticulously planning and rationalizing crimes, the Monster of Florence selects moonlit nights and optimal conditions to ensure a lone couple in an area devoid of potential witnesses. The intrigue of the Monster of Florence deepens considering the crime locations, the suburbs around Florence. Renowned for picturesque landscapes, tourists flock to admire the gracefulness of hills, cypress trees, and olive groves. The contrast between the idyllic scenery and the heinous crimes not only makes this case unique but distinctly Italian. On Wednesday night of August 21, 1968, in Lastra Signa, a small town west of Florence, Antonio Lobianco, 29, and Barbara Lacci, 32, were fatally shot in their car with a .22 caliber handgun. Lacci's son, Natalino Mele, 6, was asleep in the car, and later on found alone at a house a mile away, where he had been brought by an unidentified man after the shootings. Lacci, known as Queen Bee due to her multiple lovers, including the Vinci brothers, Giovanni, Salvatore, and Francesco, who were part of a Sardinian immigrant group in Tuscany. Stefano Mele, Lacci's mentally slow husband, was charged with the murder based on a positive paraffin glove test indicating recent firearm use, his confessions, retractions, and accusations against the Vinci brothers, and lastly, the alleged motive of marital betrayal and a weak alibi. Although Mele served 6 years in prison, another couple was murdered with the same gun during his incarceration. Now, let's fast forward 6 years to the second murders, on September 15, 1974, when Pasquale Gentlecore, 19, a barman, and Stefania Pettini, 18, an accountant, were shot and stabbed while parked in Gentlecore's Fiat 127 near Borgo San Lorenzo. En route to the teen club discotheque, the couple were discovered the next morning with Gentlecore in the car and Pettini on the grass behind it. Pettini's violated with a grapevine stalk and disfigured body bore 97 stab wounds. Prior to the murder, Pettini had confided in a friend about a strange man terrifying her, and another friend recounted a disturbing encounter with a man during a recent driving lesson. The murder scene was known for voyeur activity, with some couples reporting odd behavior by a pair of voyeurs. Despite no robbery, as Gentlecore's wallet and Pettini's purse with its contents were found untouched nearby, the killer took only a few pieces of jewelry. This unsolved murder was considered an inexplicable, one-off event for Florence and Italy at large. 7 years later, on Saturday night of June 6, 1981, shop assistant Carmela Danuccio, 21, and warehouseman Giovanni Faggi, 30, were discovered shot and stabbed on a dirt road outside Florence in the area of Scandicci, near the Anastasia Club. Similar to past cases, the couple frequented this spot for privacy. The following morning, their bodies were found. Giovanni, left half-clothed in the driver's seat, and Carmela, located 20 feet away, had shockingly specific mutilation. Carmela's private area had been cut out and taken. Her purse was emptied and scattered, but the bag was snapped shut near the car, and Giovanni's wallet was untouched. This incident echoed the unsolved 1974 double killing. Ballistics confirmed the use of the same Beretta .22 caliber long rifle and Winchester bullets with an H embossing. The police drew certainties that the 1974 crime wasn't isolated, suggesting a potential serial killer, and that the perpetrator was robust, as evidenced by lifting Carmela rather than dragging her down a hilly slope. This double murder steered the police toward their initial investigation focus in the Monster of Florence cases, Peeping Toms. Florence, surrounded by hills and countryside, lacked privacy for couples living with their parents. Car rendezvous in secluded areas were common, but this tradition revealed a darker side, a subculture of peeping toms. Voyeurs with binoculars or advanced night vision devices lurked in the woods, capturing moments of oblivious lovers. Police saw potential in these peeping toms as informants. Enzo Spalletti, a voyeur, claimed to have seen 2 dead people in the woods. His arrest was based on reticence about his activities that night, despite witnesses placing his car near the crime scene. While unconvincing as the Monster of Florence, Spalletti's arrest gave the impression of progress in the investigation. 4 months later, on Thursday night of October 22, 1981, engaged couple Susanna Cambi, 24, and Stefano Baldi, 26, parked on a country road in Calanzano outside Florence. Found the next morning, the young man was outside the car in just a shirt and underwear, while the woman's intimate area was disfigured, a recurring ritual of the .22 caliber killer. The contents of the woman's bag were scattered, but the purse, money, and valuables were untouched. An anonymous caller phoned Cambi's mother, hinting at the daughter. Days prior, Cambi mentioned being tormented and chased by someone. This double murder, differing from previous Monster of Florence crimes, raised anomalies, namely that it occurred on a Thursday instead of the usual Saturday, possibly due to a national labor strike the following day. It was committed in autumn, breaking the summer pattern, potentially to challenge Enzo Spalletti's incarceration as the Monster of Florence. And, contrary to moonless nights, this crime happened in moonlight, suggesting the killer's eagerness to act and disprove Spalletti's involvement. A significant clue emerged, an elusive shoe print, size 44, in the mud, hinting at a tall and robust individual. Following this crime, Enzo Spalletti, the voyeur in custody, was released. On Saturday night, June 19, 1982, mechanic Paolo Mainardi, 22, and dressmaker Antonella Migliorini, 20, were shot after an intimate moment in Mainardi's car in Baccaino village, Montespertoli. The killer, unable to mutilate the female victim due to passing motorists, hid the car and bodies in a woodland area nearby. Mainardi, found alive, later succumbed to injuries in the hospital. Silvia Della Monica, the prosecutor, tried to bait the Monster of Florence by falsely claiming that Paolo spoke before dying, but the killer remained elusive. The Baccaino incident marked a turning point, leading to an envelope at a Carabinieri station containing a newspaper clipping from 1968 about a similar crime. Ballistics confirmed that the same gun had been used in both the 1968 and subsequent Monster of Florence killings. The seemingly closed 1968 case with Stefano Mele as the culprit was re-examined. Retracted statements and accusations against Sardinian brothers were reconsidered. The police questioned if Mele was a pawn in the Sardinian clan's machinations, potentially taking the blame for a murder they orchestrated. This raised the possibility that one of the Sardinians still possessed the gun used in the killings. The police believed they had a significant breakthrough in the Monster of Florence case, suspecting involvement from the brothers of Sardinian petty criminals. A closer investigation into the Sardinian brothers, particularly Francesco Vinci and his older brother Salvatore, revealed oddities. Shortly after the Baccaino killings, Francesco Vinci's car was found hidden in Tuscany's woods, raising questions about his reaction to the prosecutor's false news. Vinci was taken into custody on suspicion of being the Monster of Florence. On Friday night, September 9, 1983, Wilhelm Friedrich Horst Meyer, 24, and Jens Uwe Risch, 24, German students celebrating a scholarship in Italy, were found shot in their Volkswagen Samba bus in Galuzzo. The killer, possibly deceived by Risch's appearance, fired shots through the window, realizing later that the victims were both men. This crime provided a crucial detail about the Monster of Florence: his height. The van's higher windows revealed the killer's height, estimated at least 1.80 meters, or 5'10". Similar to Enzo Spalletti's custody and Francesco Vinci's arrest, the Monster of Florence acted out again, raising suspicions of potential interaction with the authorities. The killer seemed intent on ensuring no one else could claim responsibility for the crimes. Investigating Judge Mario Rotella strongly believed the solution to the crimes lay in the Sardinian brothers and their connection to the 1968 double murder in Lastra a Signa. After Francesco Vinci's release, evidently not the Monster of Florence given another murder during his custody, attention turned to Salvatore Vinci, Francesco's older brother. Giovanni Mele, Stefano Mele's brother, and Piero Mucciorini, Stefano Mele's brother-in-law, were also questioned. While not part of the Vinci family, these men were implicated by Stefano Mele's inconsistent statements about the 1968 night. Police considered it likely that members of the Mele family might have wanted to eliminate Barbara Lacci due to her promiscuity, which tarnished their family name, a motive for her removal. If Mele and Mucciorini were involved in the 1968 crime, they were also suspects for possessing the murder weapon. On Sunday night of July 29, 1984, law student Claudio Stefanaxi, 21, and barmaid Pia Gilda Rantini, 18, were shot and stabbed in Stefanaxi's Fiat Panda near Vicchio. The killer, after dragging Pia's body and performing ritual mutilation, took an additional step by removing her left breast. Earlier, there were reports of a strange man following the couple in an ice cream parlor, and Rantini confided in a friend about being bothered by an unpleasant man at work. Unusually, the killer left two clues: a handprint on the car indicating he held the gun with his right hand and used his left to steady himself, suggesting he was right-handed, and knee marks on the car confirming a height of 1.80 to 1.85 meters. Once again, the Monster of Florence struck while the police had suspects in custody, leading to the release of the Sardinians. The seemingly promising connection to solving the crimes turned out to be a dead end. On the night of September 8, 1985, musician Jean-Michel Crevecoeur, 25, and tradeswoman Nadine Morio, 36, from Audincourt, France, were brutally attacked in their tent near San Casciano. Crevecoeur, a trained sprinter, tried to escape when the killer surprised them, but ran in the wrong direction, leading to his demise in the woods. The Monster of Florence returned to the tent to mutilate Morio's body. The killer sent a taunting note to state prosecutor Silvia Della Monica, challenging authorities to find the victims. The bodies were discovered by a mushroom picker a few hours before the letter arrived. The envelope, resembling a ransom note with cut-out magazine letters, contained a spelling mistake, indicating an uneducated perpetrator. This gruesome act marked the end of the .22 caliber attacker's spree. Initially seen as a warning of more violence, in hindsight, the envelope might have been a chilling goodbye note. The central mystery revolves around the Beretta .22 caliber pistol initially used in 1968 for a crime with a clear motive. The same gun and bullets were later used from 1974 to 1985 in seemingly motiveless serial killings targeting random couples. Two possibilities emerge: either the gun remained with the Sardinian brothers, implicating them in the Monster of Florence case, or it changed hands, indicating an unrelated Florence maniac. The challenge in question is why the subsequent crimes mirrored the 1968 double murder scenario. Despite factors suggesting the 1968 murders may be distinct, such as a clear motive and the absence of mutilation, the continuity between the crimes includes the same gun, victim's typology, and geographical area. However, distinguishing features of the 1968 crime, including a third party, absence of a knife, and the husband's confession, make it challenging to believe it is part of the spree carried out from 1974 to 1985. Florentine investigators sought a profile of the Monster of Florence. Criminologist Francesco De Fazio and head of forensic science in Medina outlined characteristics, including being a solitary killer, likely a bachelor, potentially impotent, around 40 years old in 1985, probably right-handed, more comfortable using a knife than a gun, and a lust murderer. The FBI provided a profile of a male, approximately 45 years old, from the crime area, a manual laborer, a bachelor possibly living alone or with an elderly person, residing near the site of the first killing, having limited relations with women, likely experiencing sexual dysfunction, and possibly using alcohol or drugs. From 1974 to 1985, the Monster of Florence remained elusive, posing a challenging case for investigators. Factors contributing to the difficulty included the killer's lone operation, no connection to victims, random victim selection, quick execution, long pauses between crimes, and the 1982 revelation of the 1968 murders connection. Maurizio Cimino, a top investigator, emphasized additional challenges like the expansive and hard-to-monitor crime area, dark and secluded woodsy locations, the absence of witnesses due to meticulous planning, the killer's nocturnal activity, and the lack of a discernible motive. Further complications arose from initial efforts using traditional methods, focusing on victims' lives and logical connections, leading to wasted time in unproductive directions. The police's unfamiliarity with handling serial killer cases, primarily dealing with conventional homicides or mafia-related investigations, added to the complexities. In 1985, following an anonymous letter, police focused on Pietro Pacciani as a suspect in the Monster of Florence case. Pacciani had a violent history, including stabbing a man to death in 1951. Despite a sordid past, an anonymous letter, and computer screening, the evidence against Pacciani was circumstantial. His trial in 1994 resulted in a conviction, partly due to public pressure, but weak evidence led to an overturned verdict in 1996, and Pacciani was released. The violent nature of the crimes was evident to investigators, although no graphic photos were made public. Evidence against Pacciani included some German items, a buried .22 caliber bullet, witness sightings, and proximity to crime scenes, but the appeal court deemed it inconclusive. Reasons for his absolution included his sexual activity, lack of theft, age, height disparity, and an alibi. A second trial implicated Giancarlo Lotti and Mario Vanni, leading to their conviction. Pacciani died in 1998 before a new trial. Despite convictions, the Monster of Florence case remains open, with lingering doubts. In 2001, Chief Inspector Giuttari of the Gruppo Investigativo Delitti Seriali or GIDES police unit linked the Monster of Florence crimes to a supposed satanic cult in the area. Lotti's testimony implicated a doctor who allegedly hired Pacciani for ritualistic murders. Giuttari's claims, including a pyramidal stone as a cult symbol, faced skepticism, and the investigation into Calamandrei and Narducci yielded no incriminating evidence. Calamandrei was acquitted, and Narducci's exhumation revealed nothing. Journalists and charges against Giuttari and Magnini for abuse of office. GIDES disbanded, ending the Monster of Florence investigation. In 2017, journalist Amicone connected the Monster of Florence and Zodiac killer cases, suspecting former Superintendent Bevilacqua. Amicone claimed Bevilacqua confessed to the murders but faced denial. Bevilacqua, allegedly an undercover CID investigator, was accused of manipulating evidence. Italian authorities collected his DNA in 2020. In 2021, the investigation was dismissed, and Amicone faced defamation charges. Bevilacqua's DNA profile was sent to Zodiac case authorities in November 2023. The Monster of Florence case, a haunting puzzle that has gripped investigators and theorists alike, persists as a chilling enigma in the annals of true crime. Decades of investigations, a myriad of theories, and a tapestry of intrigue have failed to unveil the identity of the elusive killer who terrorized the serene landscapes of Florence. As the case weaves through controversies, legal entanglements, and the dissolution of investigative units, the elusive truth remains shrouded in darkness. The recent attempt to link the Monster of Florence with the Zodiac killer introduces a new layer of complexity, suggesting a web of secrets and undercover operations. The closing chapters of this perplexing tale underscore the intricate nature of human darkness and the relentless pursuit of justice. In the silence of the Tuscan hills, the monster's identity remains a riddle, echoing through time as a testament to the complexities of criminal mysteries that elude the grasp of resolution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history's mysteries. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and leave a comment as we continue to unearth the enigmatic stories that have shaped our world. Until the next episode, this is Kat from Claws and Crime Chronicles, signing off.